Won't you come and let me show you around the place I live? 'Cause the place I live is Dayton, where the rainbow ends, the Carson River bends. Try to catch it all. Let me introduce you to the people I love in Dayton, where Clark Gable would show Marilyn Monroe a good time at the Odeon Hall. You can learn about our history at our very own museum, and we're so proud of our misfits that we often charge admission just to see them.
Well, howdy, and welcome to Dayton, Nevada. This old town has a real colorful history, and it's such a great place to live that I'm almost afraid to tell you about it for fear you might want to move here.
Come on out and see us in the land we love.
I'm just kidding, of course, because we welcome folks with open arms. But since you asked, let me tell you a little bit about this place we call home. Dayton is at the western end of a 26-mile desert in a bend in the Carson River. Now, immigrants traveling in wagon trains stopped here to consider whether to continue over the Sierra Nevada mountains or to wait for the snow to melt. This is where, in 1849, gold was first discovered in Nevada at the mouth of the desolate-looking canyon where miners settled. While some historians contend the town of Genoa is Nevada's first settlement, amazingly, preserved pioneer documentation indicates that Dayton's been inhabited since at least May of 1851. Chinese immigrants were hired in 1857 to hand dig a water ditch from the river to Gold Canyon. They settled here, and old maps call us Chinatown. Well, residents voted to change the name of Dayton after John Day, a local surveyor. With the discovery of the Comstock lode in 1859, Dayton served as a commercial hub for booming mining towns. Silver City, Gold Hill, and Virginia City. Dayton prospered milling ore, using a scarce commodity. That's right, water from the Carson River. By 1881, the Carson and the Colorado Railroad, the famed C&C, has been completed from nearby Mound House to Keeler, California. The train covered 300 miles a day, delivering supplies, mining equipment, and food products, including fresh milk to some small towns, also providing water for the Paiute Indians who filled vessels at selected sites along the track. Now, before the C&C served Dayton, stagecoaches and thousands of immigrants traveling by wagon train crossed Main and Pike Streets during the mid to late 1800s. That began with the California Gold Rush. Now, in 1865, the community's population actually surpassed 2,500 people. By the 1950s, it was down to only 250. Today, there is at least 12,000 folks living here. Today, the historic part of Dayton is in the Comstock Historic District, featuring a small but impressive Old West Main Street and a fine museum located in the 1865 schoolhouse.
There's a lot of history going on with this museum. I was born and raised in this area and went to school here, high school, graduated from high school here. I worked for the newspaper. I started in 1987, and I wrote a lot about Dayton as much as I could because we'd never been covered before, and I loved it. And then they started Mason Valley News in Yerington, started a Lyon County Reflections, a history of Lyon County, and I focused on Dayton, and I started gathering all the photos I could. People then knew me, came to my office. They, like you say, they'd just come in with handfuls of stuff, and I'd be so busy with the newspaper because I was usually a one-man show, photographer, editor, everything. And I would had a big drawer, and I'd just throw it all into this big drawer. And then slowly but surely we got the museum together and got it open, and we got cultural grants from the state of Nevada, and we've been really proclaimed as having one of the nicest museums, all run by volunteers.
Well, as I'm sure you've guessed by now, Dayton's history is pretty exciting. Listen to some of the highlights we are mighty proud of. The site of Nevada's first documented gold discovery in 1849 at the mouth of Gold Canyon, where Dayton began. The site of Nevada's first cemetery. Established in the 1850s in what is then Lower Carson Valley, Utah Territory. Nevada's earliest permanent Euro-American settlement was settled by 1851. In the mid to late 1800s, Pike Street teemed with activity, from pioneer wagon trains to buggies, stagecoaches, horsemen, prospectors everywhere, Native Americans, Chinese laborers, and others used the immigrant trails daily. And then, flash forward about 100 years since Dayton was named in 1851, and the little town made history as the primary location for the 1960s motion picture, The Misfits. Starring Marilyn Monroe, Clark Gable, Montgomery Clift, and Thelma Ritter. And some of the scenes were filmed right here in the Odeon Hall. And then a theater company was created in their honor.
Let me introduce you to the people I love in Dayton, where Clark Gable would show Marilyn Monroe a good time at the Odeon Hall.
If I'm gonna be alone, I want to be by myself. Just ponder the wisdom in those thoughts.
In charge and mission just to see him. How, yes we do.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
We're coming, our brave little band. On the right side of temperance, we now take our stand.
Come on out and see us in the land we love, in the town we love called Dayton. See our ranches and farms.
Adonian, who is that girl, and where did she come from?
I don't know who she is, man, but I better put her on the sofa till she comes to.
I've been longing to have a chat with you.
The game is won. This damsel is so dumb, she couldn't plug a hole in a donut. Stay where you are, you common laborer. Your time has come. Pop, pop, pop. I missed him.
My name is Mark MacGyver, and what you just seen here is a couple of skits from the Misfits Theater Group that we're filming here at beautiful downtown Dayton, Nevada. Oh, by the way, we are at the Odeon Hall on Pike Street, where the movie, The Misfits, was filmed. Actually, downstairs was where the paddleball scene with Marilyn Monroe was done right here back in 1960. Yep, that was a big hoopla back then. What I'd like to do right now is introduce you to another co-founder of the Misfits Theater Group. Hortensia Whipple was her character, otherwise known as Carol Bauer.
We have a lot of fun with our theater group, but it takes teamwork. We've done 80 presentations on 20 shows in 8 different sites. That does take a lot of teamwork, and we've had fun doing it. But we do a lot of good for our community in that we raise funds for various good causes, such as we've raised money for the B&T Foundation, the Railroad Foundation. We've raised money for the Meals on Wheels, Soroptimus International, the museum in Minden, and most recently we raised funds for the food pantry. We did that with a really exciting play called The Unspeakables. Here we are in the Odeon Hall, and we call this our home because we do most of our productions here. But we're also portable. We've taken our show to the Piper's Opera House in Virginia City, the Brewery Arts Center, to the Dayton Community Center, to the Dayton Valley Golf Course. I guess we're most impressed about taking our show to the Nevada Governor's Mansion. And we may be back there again very soon. So, come laugh with us.
One of the residents of Dayton we're proud to claim as our own is noted artist Stephen Saylor.
I was working as an art director in Reno, and a friend of mine who was an illustrator had not shown up for a few weeks and finally showed up, and I said, "Where have you been?" And she said, "Well, I moved to Dayton." And I said, "Well, where's Dayton?" She says, "It's down on the Comstock Lode." And I said, "Come down and visit. It's a little artsy community." And I said, "Sure, okay." So I came down on one weekend, and sure enough, there were silversmiths and musicians here and artists and at the time, and kind of fit in a little bit. So I came back the next weekend, made a decision that I liked this ranching valley and the folks that were here that were real friendly, and packed up my bags in Reno and came down and moved into this old home, and wanted to get horses, and I'd looked around the area, and Dayton was a perfect area to get horses, so I traded my motorcycle for a horse.